Hey, I'm Scott, and welcome back to the Practical Kung Fu YouTube channel. So what I want to discuss now in this video very briefly is the idea of tool development. Over the past several months, I've been presenting to you a bunch of different basic Kung Fu techniques, various blocking techniques, striking techniques, kicks, stance work, and all that. And that's all very beneficial to your overall skill development, and I'll continue to build on that going forward. But in a practical sense, a lot of that stuff is not going to be really deployable in a regular street confrontation. There's some issues that occur if you're faced with a criminal assault that will somewhat prohibit you from being able to deploy a lot of these Kung Fu techniques to deal with that situation. The major thing is you get if you're not an experienced fighter, if you're not experienced with street violence, if you're not an MMA fighter, you're going to get a big rush of adrenaline, and that's going to prevent you from being able to think clearly and be able to move very quickly and in a relaxed manner in order to deploy a lot of these techniques very well. So what you want to do is be sure that you've got an arsenal of basic tools that you've developed very well, so that no matter what, if you've never been in a fight, you can still deploy these tools pretty effectively. So what I suggest is figuring out, okay, what is my go-to striking technique that I'm going to practice quite a bit more than anything else. For most people, I would recommend palm heel strike over punching with your fists, because if you don't train on the heavy bag often enough, you might not develop that technique enough to ensure that you're not going to break your hand. And there's no guarantee with that anyway. We see boxers break their hands in professional fights somewhat often. So like a palm heel strike, the elbow, rounded elbow strike, and a hammer fist, those are great techniques to develop, because you're probably not going to injure yourself by deploying those. And then you also want to figure out, okay, which low line techniques do I want to use? You don't want to find yourself throwing a kick like a roundhouse kick or something like that. There's a good chance you can break your foot throwing a kick like that. If you're out on the street, you're on uneven pavement, it's going to be more difficult to throw those kicks, and it's easier to get thrown off balance when you're trying to throw, a big kick this way when you've got some of your weight going backwards in order to counterbalance that foot extending forward and up. So front snap kick is a great tool to employ, and the knee thrust, another great tool to employ as well. So if you have enough distance between you and your assailant, perhaps you can deploy something else like pepper spray in order to get out of that as well. So always consider carrying pepper spray or something like that, so that you have a longer range tool, especially if you're in a jurisdiction that doesn't allow you concealed carry of a weapon such as a handgun. So these are just some of the ideas going forward that we're going to start focusing on in video content going down the road. Okay, so that's it for this video. Again, check out the channel, practical-kungfu.com, and we'll see you in the next video.